Hi everyone, welcome. My name is Cassandra and I'm going to guide you through this practice, which is a neck and shoulder release flow. So if you have any kind of pain, stiffness, or tension through your neck, your shoulders, your upper back, and even through your chest, this should be a really soothing practice. It's great for all experience levels and you don't need any props. So we're going to begin by sitting. You can either do this kneeling. I prefer to do it cross-legged. Just make sure you can lengthen your spine up, relax your shoulders down and away from your ears. And we're just going to bring our hands back behind us, coming up onto your fingertips here. And I want you to bend into your elbows, so as if you're leaning back, and then think of pushing and lifting your chest up towards the sky. Keep a little bend in your elbows and imagine you're trying to bring your elbows together to touch, as if you're squeezing your shoulder blades back behind you. And at the same time, you're really lifting and pulling up from your chest. And you can close your eyes here, focusing on the flow of your breath. Really breathe through your rib cage so that you feel your rib cage expand front to back and side to side. Getting a nice stretch through the top of our shoulders, down the upper arms. So keep trying to squeeze your shoulder blades together and bring the elbows in. Keep trying to arch your back and lift your chest up. One more big breath and straighten the arms. Let's release. You can just reach that right arm all the way up and over. Find a nice side body stretch here and keep rolling and contracting so that you're facing more towards your left knee and left thigh. Curl your chin in towards your chest. Really stretch out nice and long, as if someone was pulling on your right hand and your right arm. And then if you can, see if you can bring your fingertips down to the mat and just crawl everything further out. So stretching along the right side of our back into that right shoulder. Relax your head, relax your neck. Really drop your head, let it be heavy, no tension in your jaw. And circle your right hand and right arm all the way back up. You can do a little half cactus shape here. So I'm bending my elbow at a 90-degree angle. And now I'm trying to rotate my chest up towards the sky again, squeezing the shoulder blades behind me. Relax your head fully. Get a nice little neck release here. So your head is like a little bowling ball. You're just letting it drop. And we'll come all the way back up through to center, nice and slow. You might want to roll the shoulders a few times, and we'll do that to the other side. So starting just with the side bend, your left arm reaches all the way up and over, and then rotate your chest down towards the mat. Curl a little bit, chin towards your chest, and imagine someone is pulling on your left hand, pulling on your arm, so that you're lengthening out of your lower back, pulling out of the waist. Always breathing in and out through the nose. And then you can bring the fingertips down to the mat, so I'm facing towards my right knee. I'm crawling the arms out, tucking my chin in towards the chest, staying up onto my fingertips. Just getting a slightly bigger release here, bigger stretch through the upper body. Keep pushing your left sit bone into the floor. And now we'll open up so you can circle your left arm all the way up into the side, bend into your elbow. Think of pulling that elbow back, pulling that shoulder back, facing up. And then relax and drop your head fully. So my right ear is reaching towards my right shoulder as I'm squeezing my shoulder blades back behind me. Soften through your jaw. So we're looking for a nice neck release along the left side of our neck and some activation through the shoulder and the upper back. And lifting all the way back up through to center. Release, roll the shoulders a few times. And let's find a few rounds of cat and cow. So just coming to a tabletop pose. Spread the fingers wide, push into your fingertips and knuckles. As you inhale, drop your belly and curl head and tailbone up. So really arching through your spine. And as you exhale, reverse this motion. And again, imagine your head is a bowling ball. You're really letting it drop as you tuck your chin to your chest, and emphasize bringing your shoulder blades, spreading them far away from one another. So broadening through your upper back. And just keep flowing in and out of those two poses. So inhale as if you were doing almost like a back bend here. And as you exhale, round. Take 2 more cycles. Opening through your chest, pull the shoulders back. Exhale, round, broaden through the upper back. Last one. And coming back to your neutral table pose, we'll come into an easy version of child's pose, balasana. So you can just bring your big toes together to touch. Start to press your hips back towards your heels. Come up onto your fingertips and walk your hands and your arms out as far as you can before bringing your forehead down to the mat. And here I want you to almost imagine you're pushing and pressing your shoulders and your armpits down towards the floor. No tension in your neck, no tension in your jaw. Just really stretch out through your arms. And focusing on the breath again here, feel your rib cage really expand when you breathe in, and it softly contracts as you breathe out. Let's lift ourselves back up. We're going to come into a downward facing dog. We're not really focusing so much on our legs here. So you can have your feet quite wide before lifting your hips up and back. Bend your knees as much as is comfortable. The emphasis here in this downward facing dog is to relax our neck, to let our head be heavy, maybe do a little yes and no motion, just kind of moving your chin side to side, and feel your shoulders press back. So I don't want your shoulders to be up towards your ears. I really want you to slide your shoulder blades down your back so that you're lengthening your neck, really letting gravity do a gentle traction. And we'll come into a ragdoll fold at the top of the mat. So just walk your feet, step it all the way up. You can keep your feet wide towards the edges of the mat. Bend your knees again here. Your legs really don't have to be straight. And I'll give you an option. Option 1 is to just hold on to your upper arms and just let yourself dangle and sway here. If it's appropriate to you, you can add a little bit of a traction and a neck release. So I like to interlace my hands behind me, and I'm just going to turn so you can see it a little bit better. And I'm just placing them at the nape of my neck, at the base of the skull. And then I'm bringing my elbows kind of towards my chin and towards my cheeks. And this helps me add just a little bit more weight so that I'm really releasing any tension that I might have here. And if this does not feel good, don't worry about it. Just hold on to your upper arms. Just 2 more breaths here. Letting go of any stress that's been accumulating here through your upper body. And we'll all bring our fingertips down to the mat. Step your left foot back and lower the left knee down. So you're in a low lunge pose. And you kind of, if you'd like, you can do more of a lizard stance so that you're opening your foot up, kind of rotating at a 45-degree angle and letting that knee drop down. It's up to you if you want to do more of a dragon more of a low lunge or a dragon or lizard type pose. We're going to add a neck release here and a shoulder stretch. Bring your right hand towards your lower back as if you could reach for your left hip. So really feel that right shoulder pull and rotate. And then you can drop your left ear towards your left shoulder. So let your head hang heavy. Maybe you stay up onto this left hand. I find it easier if I come down onto my left forearm. So then I'm really dropping my head. I'm really stretching through my right shoulder. Big twist here. And also a really nice pose for your hips, for your lower back. Just notice if you're clenching your jaw or tightening through your facial muscles. Keep pressing that right shoulder down as you roll it back. One more deep breath here in the pose. And we'll come out by first bringing our right hand in front of us, back down on the mat so that we can push ourselves up. And you can just bring your right knee next to the left, come up so that you're kneeling here. Then interlace your hands behind your lower back, pull the shoulders back, squeeze your elbows together, and maybe just take a tiny little back bend here as you lift your chest up. And we'll come into our rabbit pose. So rabbit pose, all I'm going to do is bring my forehead down to the mat, and then I'm rolling towards the crown of my head, and I'm bringing my knuckles, lifting them up and over. So really stretching through my shoulders. Keep your shoulders lifted away from your ears. Big breath in here. And let's release. We'll find our low lunge or that lizard pose on the second side. So you can step your left foot forward to the top of the mat. So low lunge, your knee and your toes are staying straight forward. For lizard or dragon pose, they have a lot of names. You can open the foot up at about a 45-degree angle and kind of let your knee and your thigh open to the side. We're going to bring our left hand to our lower back, maybe reaching for that right hip. So really roll that left shoulder down and away, and then drop right ear towards your right shoulder. Either staying up on your hand or lowering down onto your forearm. So even though this is a hip opening pose, we're really emphasizing the neck and the shoulder release. One more deep belly breath. And we'll bring our left hand down on the floor. Very slowly lift yourself up. We'll come back to kneeling. So my legs are about hip width distance apart. I'm aligning my hips over my knees. Interlace your hands the more unusual way. So have your other thumb on top. Squeeze your shoulder blades behind you. Lift the thumbs off of your tailbone and maybe add a little bit of a back bend here. You really don't need to be going too far. We're just lifting before transitioning into our rabbit pose. So dropping forehead first down to the mat and then kind of rocking towards a little bit more the crown of your head, reaching the knuckles up and over. Keep lifting your shoulders away from your ears. And release. Let's slide forward onto our bellies. We're going to take a laying chest opener. We'll start with the left side first so you can better see what I'm doing. So from laying on your belly, you're going to bring your left arm out to the side. I like to do this with my arm bent at a 90-degree angle. So my elbow is just a little bit higher than my shoulder. It's not quite at the same level as my shoulder. I like it a little higher. Palm flat to the floor. You can play around with that at home. And then you can roll onto your left hip, left shoulder, and left ear. Try to relax and keep your head down on the mat. And I'm using my right hand to kind of push into the ground until I get a nice stretch through my left shoulder, into the biceps, into the chest. For some people, it's more comfortable to bring their right hand towards their lower back. Other people also like to step the right foot back behind them. This will definitely intensify the pose. And you can kind of play with the angle at which you're bending your left elbow. And you can also play around with the height of your elbow as it relates to your shoulder. Breathing deeply here. See if you can melt into the pose a little more with every exhale. And we'll straighten our legs so that we can ease our way over to the second side. So onto your belly, take your time. It might feel good just to lift up into a little Sphinx pose for a breath or two here. Just resetting, coming back to neutral. And then we'll go and stretch over onto the right. So this time, right arm comes out. Find roughly a 90-degree angle. My elbow is a little bit higher than my shoulder, and I'm gonna roll onto my right shoulder, right ear, right hip. I like to bend my knees. I find it a lot easier to be comfortable in the pose. And I'm just kind of pushing my left hand into the ground so that I'm rolling over a little more. Take your time to really get settled and comfortable here so that you can then relax into the pose a little more. One more deep belly breath. And coming back through to center, so straighten your legs, maybe come up into Sphinx pose if that feels nice. And we'll come back into a little kneeling seated position, so you can just press yourself back and sit your hips onto your heels. If for any reason this is not comfortable to you, you can just sit cross-legged. And we'll take our Garudasana eagle arms. So with your elbows bent in front of you at a 90-degree angle, you're gonna wrap your right arm under your left, maybe just once, maybe also wrapping at the wrists. If this is not really working for you, you can also just wrap and hold onto your shoulders. From here, push your shoulders down, keep your elbows up, and move your hands away from your face. If you'd like to intensify further, you're gonna drop your chin to your chest. Really breathe into your upper back here in the pose. One more big breath. And release the arms. Bring your fingertips back behind you, just like what we did at the beginning of class. Lift your chest up. Squeeze your elbows towards one another with a little bend in your elbows. And we'll find eagle arms on the second side. This time, left arm wraps under the right, maybe once, maybe also twice at the wrists, or feel free to just grab a hold, reaching for your shoulder blades. Shoulders down, elbows up, hands moving away from you, and maybe also tucking your chin to your chest. You might think of pushing your forearms in towards one another, broadening through your upper back. And let's release one last time, that same little stretch up onto your fingertips. Lift your heart up, squeeze your shoulder blades and your elbows towards one another. And releasing to come take a seat. I'm gonna sit cross-legged because that's just what's most comfortable for me. You can stay kneeling if you prefer. We'll just do a little neck release to close here and finish. So you can bring your right fingertips out to the side and drop your left ear towards your left shoulder. So really opening through the right side of the neck. And you can play a little bit around here with the angle that you have your chin. If you tuck it down, you'll feel this more towards the back of your neck, back of the shoulder. You might keep it neutral for the side, or you can even lift it up to stretch at the front of your neck. So depending on where you're holding the most amount of tension, try to really let gravity do the work for you here. Unclench your jaw. And tuck your chin down to your chest, roll back through to center, and then you can lift your head back up, roll the shoulders, and we'll do the same thing to the other side. So left hand, left fingertips reach out and drop your right ear towards your right shoulder. Really push that left shoulder down. And again, maybe explore what kind of angle you want to keep with your chin. Notice if you're rounding through your spine or slouching, stay neutral. Really just isolate this through your neck. And you can roll your chin down towards your chest before lifting your head all the way up to center. Any little shoulder rolls or final movements here. Close your eyes. And bring your awareness through your jaw, your neck, your shoulders, your upper back, your chest. Notice if this area feels different now. If there have been any changes, hopefully improvements as a result of your time on the mat. Hands coming together. Let's close by chanting Om one time together. Breathe in to chant. Inhale. Om. Thank you so much, everyone, for doing this neck and shoulder release flow with me. I hope you have a little bit more ease and comfort through this area. Leave me a comment. Let me know how this class went for you. I have a few other upper body focus classes, quite a few neck and shoulder release classes. So I'll see if I can post them down below. If you'd like to do more of these, please subscribe if you don't already, and hopefully I will be practicing again with you very soon.